Have you ever done one of those little message boards that you pop in the letters?
Use an old mirror or an old cabinet door to make a dry erase board. They're so much faster to use.
Cute. So I just took paper doilies and used the liquid patina in clear. Dry erase, but I even use permanent markers, but you have to use like an alcohol to get them off instead of the dry erase. So this is Cowgirl Coral with Kissing Booth. Underneath here, of weathered wood on this. Sanded it, put some wax on it. I think I used white wax. And then these paper doilies, I thought one accidentally tore, so I just went with it. I thought it looked kind of like aged grandma's doilies, so I just went with the tears. Paper doilies look like granny panties. You could also, instead of the clear liquid patina, the dark and decrepit patina, and then have this look really a dirty granny panties. Let's not think about it. Fun colored markers.
This could be hung vertical or horizontal.
Take and put your grocery list on there and then take a picture of it with your phone and then you got it on your phone. I'm a paper girl personally.
You can also use tissue paper, but you got to think of the design if you're going to use a dry erase board so it'll show up.
I love to cross off. See, it's just not as fun. It's just not as fun on glass, but this is good. Some people are good with this.
First thing to do is fill in where the knob was with some wood putty, let it dry, sand it down, clean your glass or mirror with some alcohol so that it can receive the paint and an iron orchid transfer. I love these little pyramids. You can get them for about $6 for about 12. They hold your piece up so that you can paint the edges.
Take hymnal pages. I don't think I stole the hymnal book. I may have stolen my first hymnal book. I don't know how I got that first hymnal, but that's another talk show. 2, don't steal the hymnals.
All right, here we go. I'm using Queen Bee and DIY paint. I love this color. It looks great on its own, or you can age it with some dark wax or some dark and decrepit liquid. So this is the second coat. So I just sanded a little bit and let the previous flowers that were painted on there show, and it looks really good. And I am painting the back of the glass so that you can write on the front glass for the dry erase. It did take 2 coats to cover. It did not matter if the strokes were smooth. It looked great. I did put Big Top on the back to seal it just so it doesn't scratch as easy when they're hanging it.
You feel like you're doing something really bad when you rip those hymnal pages out. If you can't do it, if you can't defile a hymnal, just take them, copy them off, age them with the dark and decrepit DIY. They'll make them look really old and real, and then you'll feel better about yourself, because it feels wrong when you rip them out of there. I'm still going to do it because I've already done it. If you ever use the DIY liquid patina, you will never use Mod Podge again. It is the bestest ever. Like, it's just not as sticky. It's more fluid. It's just, you just got to get it to know. You can also do the picture transfers. Haven't tried that yet, where you make a copy on the copier of your picture and then you can put it on a piece of wood. I don't know. It's another YouTube.
This looks like egg over easy. I literally went in and ate eggs for lunch and didn't even think about it. If you want it to look like you had a base color and then put another color on top and sanded it back and it shows through, but you don't want to take the time to do that, this is the way to do it. Just paint your 2 coats of color, and then I took my tiny little artist brush and just painted black on certain spots. It looks so good. It really works. Give it a try.
I would love to have you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Decorizing Your Life, and we post every day on the DIY-aGoGo, and please subscribe to that.
All the products I used in this video and more are in the links in the description box. When painting glass, it takes much longer to dry, so be sure and let it dry thoroughly so it doesn't pull your paint back up.
I'm a hardened criminal. It could lead to other things, so I'm kind of feeling bad about that, and I'm putting it out there in the airwaves to like everybody. Like, I wonder if somebody, some little old church lady is just like, I wonder where that hymnal went. She'd never suspect me. Don't tell her she's not on YouTube. I know it. I just know it.
I just wiped off with a wet rag where I got the paint on the glass. Because it wasn't sealed, it came off really easy. Now, I did use the big top to seal this queen bee paint so that I can put the transfer on. You do not want to put a transfer on over wax. So that is what I did, and I let it dry. If you do not let it dry really good, like 24 hours, your transfer can peel up. So just be careful about that. So right here, I am just putting a little on the corners, just some pieces I cut off. This transfer you're going to see is probably half of the Wallflower Iron Orchid Design transfer. It is the prettiest on so many different colors. When you use a Iron Orchid Design transfer on glass or mirror, it sucks down and you have no movement left or right. So be very cautious to hover over where you want it placed and then let it stick down. Now when you're on wood, especially that has been sealed with the big top like I did, you've got a little movement, but because it was on glass, I really concentrated on where I wanted that. And then you just work your air bubbles out, and you have to kind of be careful with the lips that I'm going around. Will make it crack a little bit. It doesn't look bad, just go with it, but really put your fingernail in the creases of it like I'm doing here so that you can get it to overlap onto the wood. I love to let it flow over the wood. This little piece that I added in between, I did that so that when they are dry erasing or using permanent markers, they don't accidentally hit the transfer and not be able to get it off. So it just kind of helped it to stay clean for the writing board and the pretty part. So I had rescued that off of an old wooden shutter and just cut it down, and it worked perfect. And I just glued it with the glue that you'll see is my favorite glue to use for the molds, and that is Iron Orchid molds as well. I didn't do it in this one. And you just literally rub with your finger, rub with the little tool that comes with it, and it will have to be sealed. So I sealed mine with Big Top. When it's on glass or mirror, you do not have to go over the transfer with it. But on the wood part, you do need to either wax or Big Top to seal it after it's on. I chose to go ahead and put a little Big Top on the transfer. I didn't have to. I just wanted the sheen to kind of be a little shinier, and I just did it. You do not have to do that part though. I wish I would have glued that little wood piece before because I wanted my blue flower to flow over it, and I forgot. So I just went with it. I would have had a little bit more area for the dry erase part. And then I just took the clear paper that comes off of the backing and use it to rub it down, just to kind of burnish it is what it's called, or you can use a dry cloth. But I always start with my fingers because it just helps you to feel to get it down, and then you can burnish it. See right here, I'm just going over the wood part with the Big Top. I do, like I said, end up going over the part that's on the glass, but it's not necessary. It will stay, it will not come off. It's really durable on mirror and glass. To finish this off, you can put brackets on the back so that you can hang it on the wall. And also I had an adhesive marker holder so that I could just keep my marker right there. But you don't even have to do that. You could use a little metal hook. You can do a handle upside down that's for cabinets to put a marker in. There's just so many things you can do to add a pen and marker. You could put a little eye hook and then add a marker that is tied with twine so that you have a little length to do that so that your kids don't walk off with it. Remember when clotheslines were a thing? Those were the good old days when you could see a pair of granny panties blowing in the wind.